The name of our team is O.A, and we are working on the project which calls Ghost Utopia. And the main idea that we would like to work with the stories of refugees, migrants, and other victims of wars and repressions, and use their stories for creating a world, a fantasy world where they could feel comfortable, calm, or at least we want to ask them about their fantasy where they could feel like nice, like the good place, and based on their stories about their own experience and also about their fantasy, we would like to create something.
So at the moment we are conducting interviews with people. Like in Gwangju we found some refugees from Ukraine. There is some Korean Mall. So Dasha did several interviews there, and then also from the 518, how do you say in English? The uprising in May 18th. We did some interview with people who were participating there, and then also with some Korean 선생님. He was in the Vietnam War and now is critical about this war. We made also interview with him, and based on this interview, now we will edit the interviews and make some VR world, two VR worlds. One is a reality, based on reality. For example, we make a scan of the Kudojong place here, and inside this scan there will be interview of the people who participated in May 18th revolution. And then there will be another world what Dasha is drawing right now in 3D that stands for the utopia those people are dreaming of, interpreted by Dasha, of course.
Yes, and I try to find like what form could be best for interpretation of their stories, or how can I keep my own style and to combine with their thoughts or feelings about this utopia. And now we are going to make the installation, so there will be 3D printed sculptures from this world. And my first feelings about Gwangju as the city, it's like also some city of ghosts, since the story which it has, right, and the past, and also I saw that it's a little bit like abandoned maybe. I saw houses or buildings which not work anymore, and I was walking near with them, and so many trees, plants, forests, and also this plants, they are like becomes the walls of the houses. So I was inspired by the fact that what I'm doing with my world, they combine perfectly with the city. Okay, we already have 3D installations. We are doing sculptures even right now, and our project will include VR, sculptures, and video. These sculptures, they are all will be in this VR space. But the idea was that they interpret the thoughts about utopia of people whose interviews we took. I had an experience to talk with the victims who came from Ukraine war, so it was very sensitive because they explained about their loss, about their families and friends who they left in their country. So through these sculptures, it's like characters of ghosts, and they a little bit like maybe scary, like the unknown world, but at the same time, it's like this feeling of little bit loss maybe, and a little bit like feeling of finding some warmth through touch, hug, and through these small tiny houses.
There will be a wood table or some podest in the middle of the room, and
depending on the theme of the video, there will be video installation together with this installation with light and the sculptures. And depending on the storytelling of the video, we will put light in the part of the installation that's connected to the video and make some storytelling with video and light and sculptures. We will have a 3D scan and also other video that we will edit for the reality part of the world. And then there will be a matching Utopia island, and we will go also in the video and also in the VR world. We will go from one world to the other and again back to the reality, back to the Utopia world, something like that. Yeah, we choose VR because first of all, it's I think one of the strongest medium that are available to show, to express some idea or show something. But it's only used for games most of the time, and there are not many examples where the VR is used for artwork, or of course there's many for artwork, but not for real documentary kind based artwork. So it's like an experiment that we want to try to make it also. What can we do in VR for a project that is based on real stories? Yeah, in the VR, what we will do is in the main installation we show the reality part, a little bit important, and no, not important, but we show interviews with the reality part and the Utopia without interview. And in the VR part, you can see what the people said about their Utopia, and then you can go inside the Utopia then afterwards. So it's a little bit different, but same. The difference between the installation and the VR is that people, when they go into VR, they get much more drawn into the work. So it feels much more near to them, like they are in this world. So that's the strong point of VR. Why we put VR and installation together is so people can feel the utopia we created it's like they can feel and walk through this utopia.
About sketches, at the beginning I tried to work with the illustration skills which I have. At the same time, I tried to illustrate what they were talking about. So at the beginning I did the 2D sketches, and in the space you can see how I was thinking about the idea of utopia or the idea of some memorial where the history could be saved. And with the time, trying and experimenting with the virtual glasses, I tried to transfer these 2D sketches in a 3D space.